One of our favorite sponsors is back with us, Sunset Lake CBD.
Yeah.
If you're looking for CBD that actually does what CBD is supposed to do, look no further than our friends over at Sunset Lake.
Let me break it down.
Break it down, Mel.
They're sustainably farmed, meaning they avoid pesticides and use sustainable farming practices to preserve the land for future generations. 1. 2, farm to table. They ship the CBD products straight from their door in Vermont directly to your door wherever you're at.
Now that's cool.
And third party tested. They test everything with a third party to ensure quality, dosage, and safety.
You got to go over and check out sunsetlakecbd.com. They have so many products. Break it down for them, Apple.
Well, they've got some new stuff going on. Like they always had pre-rolls, but now they got really cool packaging for it. And you can get CBD pre-roll flights of all their flavors. You can get the heavy hitter flight that also throws in some of their Keef blunts. They have a new CBD recovery body lotion.
I'm excited about that.
Mm-hmm.
And what was the other?
The other one with arnica.
The extra strength muscle rub, 3,000 milligram with 5% lidocaine.
So look,
Oh, yeah,
if you're
lidocaine.
sore, this is the stuff you want to rub on your body to make those aches and pains go away. They even have CBD infused coffee, so you can have coffee without the little jitter that you get from caffeine, and you have it in the morning and you start your day off right. Your body feels lubricated. You're going to sleep good.
Yeah, and also they have, if you kind of forget to reorder, they've got subscriptions.
And they're giving the No Simple Road family 20% off.
20% off.
Put
with
in the promo code NSR20 when you're checking out at sunsetlakecbd.com. You're going to get 20% off your entire order.
NSR20.
And don't forget those cute little gummy bears.
That's right. sunsetlakecbd.com, one of our favorite sponsors, is back.
Outside. Everybody outside.
Okay, right on, Mel.
Line up for your Shop Tour Bus
Shop
t-shirt.
Go to
Tour
Shop
Bus.
Tour Bus,
Whoa.
everybody. Go check out Shop Tour Bus. They have the online lots, dopest Grateful Dead inspired t-shirts, hoodies, stickers,
Yeah,
tote bags, hats.
all
You
kinds
know,
of fun
all the
stuff.
stuff that we all like to wear, man. You know, No Simple Road isn't getting like shitty sponsors, man. We're getting
No.
family owned and operated businesses that we want to support. You should support them too. Go check out Shop Tour Bus. They send you whatever you order in a really dope all over printed box. All these extras come in there. Some of you are even going to get a miracle
Bootleg.
in your order.
That's right.
And
You'll also get a bootleg pencil in there to spool it with and a whole bunch of other goodies.
yep, and you're getting free shipping. If you put in the promo code No Simple Road, all one word, when you check out, you are getting free shipping from the fam. So go
Wow.
check out at Shop Tour Bus on Instagram or shoptourbus.com. Order yourself something fresh. It's time to update that wardrobe. Shop Tour Bus. It's the afternoon or the evening and you're hungry and you want to go get something to eat, and that dreaded age-old question comes, hey, what do you guys want to eat? And there's
I
like
don't know.
the 6 places that you always go.
I'm fine with anything.
No, you're not. Change it up. Go to Fire on the Mountain, man. If you're here in Portland, there's 3 locations, so you have no excuse. There's 1 close to you, and there's 2 in Denver. Same thing, no excuse. Go check it out. The best chicken wings, the best salads, vegan options, vegetarian options.
And those desserts are hitting it.
And they're throwing dope specials at you quicker than you can eat them.
And if you'd like to have a little drinky drink, they have their own brewing company,
Fire on the Mountain Brewing.
They're hooking it up.
Another rad thing that they have is some awesome merch. They've got some trucker hats. They've got some dope socks. They've got some silicone cups. Really cool.
Silly pints.
Silly pints.
That's right.
And they've got their sauces that you can order to make your own at home.
So if you're interested in any of this and you aren't in Denver or Portland, you can go to portlandwings.com and get yourself a hoodie or some sauces or a trucker hat, and you can listen to No Simple Road, and then there's this weird cosmic beam that comes from the sky, and it'll warm your heart and make you fill with love. And who doesn't want to be filled with love? So go check it out. Fire on the Mountain, portlandwings.com, at FOTMPDX, or at FOTM Denver on Instagram. It looks delicious, I promise. That spring and that summer tour are getting ready to start, and you are going to be going to a lot of venues you maybe have never been to before, and it would be good if you could have a little heads up before you go in, know what the security's like.
I'd love a heads
know
up.
where the sound is the best, know where to grab something to eat near there. Where
the bathroom situation is always a good thing.
Yeah, that's definitely a plus. So there is a new website. It's called VenueLlama.com, and it's an online resource that provides live music fans the insider venue info they need. A place where fans can quickly rate venues and share various tips and intel about those venues. VenueLlama.com launches in late spring, but they're currently doing a sneak peek for No Simple Road listeners. They are compiling their Llama base with as much helpful information as possible on venues for the following upcoming tours: Dead & Company, Phish, Widespread Panic, Billy Strings, and Goose. So head on over to check out the exclusive beta version of Venue Llama today at VenueLlama.com/NSR. That's VenueLlama.com/NSR.
Boom. We're so excited to tell you a bit about today's sponsor, Music Masters Collective. They are a nonprofit organization that produces unique music events, providing opportunities for fans and artists to meet and collaborate in an inspired and creative atmosphere.
Music Masters Collective events give you the opportunity to learn from world-class musicians like Otil Burbridge, Steve Earle, Richard Thompson, former members of the band, the Milk Carton Kids, Nikki Glaspie, the Fab Four, and Sean Colvin, and so many more.
At an event like the Milk Carton Kids Sad Song Summer Camp happening this July, you can expect immersive classes, evenings of entertainment, excellent food, and a space for a lucky group of folks to learn, co-write, workshop, and perform with like-minded peers, all with the guidance of Kenneth Pattengale, Joey Ryan, and some of their favorite songwriters. This all-inclusive week in the Catskill Mountains of upstate New York is guaranteed to be magical. Scholarships are available and spots are extremely limited, so visit www.sadsongsummercamp.com/simple to learn more. That's www.sadsongsummercamp.com/simple. Check it out.
Hey everyone, Chris Pandolfi from the infamous String Dusters here to let you know that my podcast, Inside the Musician's Brain, is back on the airwaves for Season 4, which means it's time once again to get deep with influential musicians from all across the musical landscape to really understand and translate the lessons of success, failure, inspiration, and hard work that are behind the music and the artists that we love. My guests this season include Rachel Price from Lake Street Dives, Sam Bush, Chris Wood, Chris Funk from The Decemberists, Lindsay Liu, MC Taylor from His Golden Messenger, and more. Check us out, and thanks for listening.
Megan. That's what we're going to do. Hey, No Simple Road family. This is Aaron.
This is Apple.
And this is Mel.
And we're back for another episode of No Simple Road. I want to say happy Phish tour, everybody.
Woohoo!
Happy Phish.
Get back on that train again.
Happy Phish.
I hope that everybody's been safe and is having great shows and is having a great time and enjoying yourself and myself and all the selves that are out there.
Are you enjoying yourself?
Well, you got to be careful with yourself when it gets to this, getting back into Phish tour and festival season.
Yeah, you got to
you don't want to be,
it.
Yeah, you don't want to be like flooring it into it.
This is a marathon, everybody, not a sprint. You don't have to do all the things in one night. You can take it easy and ease your way through.
We're just heading into spring tours. Then we got summer.
This
and then
week
fall.
On No Simple Road, we are super stoked to have Megan Glionna of
Megan.
HF Pod on the show to hang out with us and talk Phish and all kinds of other fun stuff. And she is co-hosting a brand new podcast. It's called What? Things of Gold?
Things of Gold.
And it is a Snarky Puppy podcast.
Yeah, yes, it is.
And it is part of Osiris Media, and they already dropped the first episode.
Yeah, they dropped the first episode, so look that up in wherever you get your podcasts. So she's spreading her beautiful wings.
Her
her musical wings.
And her podcast wings.
Yeah.
Those are, what do podcast wings look like?
They look like microphones.
Okay. All right. I guess that's what podcast wings look like.
There it is.
And they're golden knitted.
Golden things of gold. There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's really cool. I mean, I've heard from listeners of No Simple Road that they really appreciate a female perspective on the show.
Yes.
That like
I've heard that myself.
The jam scene is, well, let's just say rife with dudes. Lots of dude energy going on.
And the thing is there's nothing wrong with it. It's just now that we're aware that it needs more diversity, let's get in there. And that's exactly what Megan has done. She's put her foot in the door so it wouldn't close, and then she pushed it open.
That thing open.
And she's like, what? Now what? I'm here. And I love that about her. She wanted to do it. She freaking studied her little tail off, and she's killing it.
And
yeah, she
quite
knows
frankly,
what
she's killing
about.
it.
And she shakes things like Mel does with us. It like shakes things up to have your perspective.
Otherwise,
with
guys are just saying the same stuff like different ways.
Yeah,
and it's like, all right, we heard that shit already.
We can geek out a little too much sometimes.
It's true.
Point in the right direction.
I'm just gonna say,
there's no hate. I'm just saying that it can sound monotonous, like the same point like 30 different times. But when a woman comes in there, she throws a monkey wrench in, and then maybe that point was good, but now it's going a different direction.
Are you trying to say that the women are smarter, Mel?
No.
In every way.
No.
Okay.
They make us up our game.
That's right.
More on point.
You said that, so I don't need to say
Bobby
it.
actually said that.
I said
You
it
just
too.
said it too.
I agree.
Here's the thing. It's awesome in both the Phish community and the Dead community to see women stepping up and doing their thing and putting their voices out there.
Thank you.
And also Goose too. Like, don't forget about the Goose Chicks podcast.
We're not forgetting about them. We just had a couple episode a few weeks ago.
So it is dope to see that. And I just know that like when listening to like HF Pod, it's cool to hear a female perspective in there. And I'm really excited to listen to her new show too, Things of Gold. So yeah, man. Megan, thank you for hanging out with us. This interview, we actually did this, I think, before. Yeah.
We did this, before we met you in person. Well, no, we met her before.
Yeah, but before
like,
Mexico.
Yeah, before Mexico.
And it was cool to see you in Mexico bouncing around.
And we found each other and we danced it out. It was such a good time, Megan. Thank you.
Where was I?
I don't know I needed to go to the bathroom. And then I got caught dancing to Phish. I was like, I can't walk back now. I need to dance right now. And then I look over to the left and some beautiful maven comes over and starts dancing with me. And we like look at each other and we're like, oh shit. And then we hug it out and killed it. We tore it up.
I love that. And like on the first night, we just kind of bumbled to our spot and you're talking to RJ's wife.
Yes.
And I look over and there's RJ standing right next to us. Like in a sea of people, we found our folks.
Gravitated towards each other.
Always
in a velvet sea of people, we found each other.
That's right.
No, I got a silly question. It just made me think of it again. No, when you're just talking about dancing, how was it dancing on the beach? Was like the sand thick? I mean, was it heavy or...
No,
you know what I mean? Like your feet sinking in?
It was fantastic. That's what I can say. I didn't feel any kind of weirdness about this is my own personal thing. I didn't feel like my feet were weird. Shoes, nothing bothered it. It was great.
How about you, Aaron?
So the reality of the situation is this. There's two different kinds of sand in that venue. There's like if you're facing the Page side, over towards the front is a little softer sand. Okay. Mike's side over towards the ocean is a little harder sand. And
which makes sense. Okay.
We experienced both. The Page side softer sand is a little more difficult to dance in, and what you
A little
have
more of a workout.
Yes, and what you have to do is dig yourself a little like with your feet, like kick yourself a little pit.
Oh, okay. Get a little
You
spot
get
to stand
yourself
in.
a little spot, and then you're all right. I heard several people complaining the next day that their older dudes,
That
mostly,
they're hurting a little.
their knees and calves were bothering them from trying to dance in the sand. And I was like, just kick yourself a little spot and you'll be all right. I figured it out
All right.
early on. So
I like the solid answers right
Yeah.
there. That's I just thought of that. It was like, what is that like being on the beach at a show?
well, let me tell you.
Now I
dude.
know.
Yeah, now you know. Mike's side.
I loved it.
I loved it too, man. Anyway, let's do the business and get him to the interview, y'all. What do you say?
The business.
Let's do it.
Mel, start us
Do the
off.
business.
Well, if y'all want to do something rad, follow us on Instagram at No Simple Road, and also go to our website, nosimpleroad.com. On that website, you're going to find all our stuff, our merch tab, so you can freshen up your summer gear, get yourself a new t-shirt, get yourself a cute new coffee mug. Then you're going to go over to our page to schedule a tarot reading with Aaron and I.
Oh shit.
What?
We use the Grateful Dead tarot deck, man, and you will get a 1-hour reading. You'll get a playlist based on the cards that you pull. You'll get an email with a synopsis of your reading, and you'll get the audio file of the 1-hour reading so that you don't forget what we told you in the reading.
All right. And then you can also access all of our episodes on our website too. You can also see where we're going to be, what festivals we're going to be, what concerts are coming up. And that way you can join us and come with your posse, mix with our posse, and come dance it out.
And the
That's for
posses
sure.
grow. You can even see pictures of some of the past things we've done. It's a great place to find everything No Simple Road.
Some would say it's a home page. Oh,
Ooh.
never mind.
It is a homepage, homeboy.
Go to
Oh,
patreon.com/No Simple Road and sign up to become a patron of No Simple Road. Why do I want to do that, Aaron? Well, listen, here's the thing. You're listening to the show right now. Producing the show costs money, but beyond that, it's about creating community, and that's what's happening over on Patreon. We are building the No Simple Road community.
Even deeper than we have before.
So think about like your Facebook page, but think about your Facebook page with only people that listen to No Simple Road and you on there. That's what Patreon is. So you can go over there, interact with people. We have like polls that Corey's doing a joke of the week, polls every week.
All right, so the
there's
poll-
patron only content up there now. Corey's producing the Side Roads episodes. There's all kinds of stuff going on. If you sign up for $5 a month, you get to be part of the Discord server.
all right.
What?
So the
All right, what?
poll of the week is, it says choose wisely.
Okay.
Which do you prefer, chocolate or ice cream? That's actually the old one, but it doesn't matter.
Okay, go.
This the
Mel,
new one?
Chocolate or ice cream? No, they have to sign up to get the new
Okay,
one.
I'll have to choose ice cream.
Really? You would, if you choose the one, you can never have the other again.
Is that how it works?
Yeah. that is how
Aaron
it
made
works.
up that new rule.
He's-
That's not
he's
when
adding it.
and when I initially said it.
And
that
if you're
wasn't
caught
it.
with it, you will be doomed.
No, it
You will be
disappears.
dismembered.
It just is gone.
The other one
No.
disappears. What about you, Apple?
For everybody? So you're making a decision for the
No,
world?
just for you. Just for you.
Oh, damn. I already, chocolate.
Yeah, he
I'd keep
said
chocolate.
that earlier.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's hands down ice cream.
You can
And
take the ice cream.
would I be able to have chocolate ice cream though?
Well, and then,
But it'd have to be dairy free.
Oh my God. Anyway, I'm picking
well, and
ice
then
cream.
there's side thing. They could still have sherbet and frozen
So you get
custard.
the idea. That's patreon.com/No Simple Road. You
We get
understand.
technical.
You get the idea, Discord and all that stuff. But you can also leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. We have not gotten a review for April. Is that right?
No, we got
we
one.
got one review.
yeah,
for
we
April.
got one. It was from Monday,
Okay. Well,
a couple Mondays ago.
I digress. Please leave us a second review on Apple Podcasts for this month. We would really
Then get
appreciate
your
it.
friend to leave the third one, and then somebody else leave the fourth.
And that leads me to the last piece of the puzzle. Tell somebody that you know and love about No Simple Road.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
let's build this community. That's what it's all about.
Let's continue to build it, because everybody out there, you guys have been doing that, and we want to say thank you for doing that. But maybe you haven't done it yet, if this is you, or you're new to the show and you haven't done it because you're new. Help us grow it.
You could even recommend. In fact, I think it would be a good idea to recommend it to somebody that you're maybe not that crazy about, because it might be just what they need to bring them up to that level.
Oh,
and I'll say this too. We have Megan on. So if you are listening to this because you are Megan's friend, Megan's homegirl,
or you're a listener of HF Pod,
any of that, be like, oh, Dip, that was a great interview with Megan. I got to know a little bit more about her and I really appreciate it. Share that episode with your friend that also loves Megan.
There it is. That's pretty much it. That's the business. Let's get him to the interview, y'all.
All right.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Mel?
I'm ready for it too. I want to hear it.
Without further ado, the No Simple Road crew gives you
Megan Glionna.
What's going on?
Hey, y'all. How are you?
What's
Good.
What's up?
Good. Not much. This is so fun. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. It's kind of been a lot of female stuff the past couple of weeks. So it
Nice.
actually fits. We talked to the ladies from the Goose Chicks podcast, I think
Oh, awesome.
Leslie.
like a week ago.
Yeah.
Last weekend.
Last weekend, yeah. And-
LPGOB.
yeah, we've
Yeah.
had her on.
Uh,
Do you
Oh
know
my God. I've been loving her mixes. How fun. That's
she's
so
dope.
Awesome.
Wait till you listen to that interview.
So
It's
cool.
amazing. She's such a
can't wait to hear
sweetheart.
it.
Megan, for the folks that don't know you, will you introduce yourselves to them? Yourself to them?
Yourselves. How many
Yourself.
selves do you have, Megan?
Absolutely.
Yeah, how many
All of yous.
How many
Actually, a
people are
bunch.
you?
A bunch. All right, the one you want present today.
Okay, yeah, I'm a Gemini, so I definitely have two sides. But yeah,
Same
I'm Megan
here.
Glionna. You too, Apple?
Yes.
Nice. Yeah, I'm Megan Glionna, and I'm on HF Pod, and that's how I got to meet all of you, which is just
That's right.
so lucky for me. Yeah.
Megan, when did you come on board with HF Pod?
Yeah, how did that happen? Let's hear the quick
get
story
right
of
into
that.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the quick story. There's a long story and a quick story.
Let's hear
I'll
the
do
long story.
We like the long form.
Okay. I love it. Yeah, the long story is I've always been a performer. Like that was my whole dream when I was a kid. I was 3 years old and I told my parents I want to be an actress. I want to live in New York City. And that was kind of my goal my whole life. And so I studied acting and dance and singing. And, I went to New York and tried it out after college. And it was rough.
Oh.
Style, man. I didn't know anybody,
Oh.
and it was really just going out there and auditioning, and I would get work and do a play, and someone would come and be like, oh, I really liked it. Come and meet with me. And I'd meet with them and they'd be like, great, that was awesome. Tell me when you got your next gig. And I'd be like, okay. I get my next gig, rehearse for 3 months, call them. They'd be like, who are you? And it just got really hard. And I just felt like it was a life that I wasn't finding any meaning in anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just was kind of feeling like, what do I want to do next? And I went home and I saw my mom, and she's a teacher, and I watched her in her classroom, and I was like, yeah, I got to go do this.
Aw.
So yeah. So I teach third grade, and that's kind of, I started then and I started doing that. And
Megan, how
but the
long?
whole time, yeah.
Sorry, how long were you doing that before you went back home? And like, how long did you give it? Like before you decided, like, screw
I
that?
acted, my whole life until I was like 26.
Okay.
I think. Yeah. So, and then I had a lot of success when I was younger, but it just, New York was tough on me.
Yeah.
And yeah, so
it's
when I
tough
was like
on
26,
everybody.
it's really tough. Yeah. I mean, I love it. I've always wanted to live here. It's my favorite, but it's definitely like, it's not for the faint of heart, it's not. But yeah. So I went home and saw my mom and started teaching. And that's been a really great career for me. It's been really
Aw.
fulfilling. But I still have that that performer in me that, is kind of
Yeah, that doesn't go away.
unfulfilled. Yeah, exactly. That artist, right? And so I found other outlets for it, definitely like going to shows and dancing and, performing in that way and having that expression was really great. But it all kind of changed. It started, I think, when I turned 40. I just had this like coming of age moment. I had this like amazing 40th birthday party with a bunch of my friends up in the mountains for a few days. And we unearthed all these journals that I had when I was a teenager and when I was going to shows and also in college and what I was going through and when I was acting a lot. And we started reading them and we were like, God, I got to like get this out. Like this this is a story I want to tell. And so I started writing, and I hadn't written since college really. And I just started writing like a lot and telling my story and expressing it that way and writing a lot of poetry, which I used to do a lot of. And ever since then, I've just felt like on this creative kind of mission. And the podcast kind of like ended up being this like beautiful gift, because I was during the pandemic, I was listening to the podcast a lot, and to Helping Friendly podcast, and going back and like listening to old episodes, and they did this episode on the Europe 96 tour for Phish. And they were talking about how they'd never talked to anybody who had been on the tour before, and how they were like curious about it. And I did that tour when I was 19.
Oh, shit.
It was the first time I ever left the country. And my boyfriend and I was madly in love. And we like packed up our backpacks and went like traveled Europe for 3 weeks and followed Phish around.
Oh my God.
Wow. What an experience.
Oh my God. It was life-changing. You know, it was just, I think I'd been to Mexico. So I had left the country once. I grew up in Michigan, but I had never been to Europe. I'd never been off the continent. It was just a magical, incredible experience. And it was just one of those times that like I'll never forget. And I remember like specific moments so clearly, you know, when you, even though it was so long ago, it's just so crazy. And I kept a really detailed journal while I was there, and I took a ton of pictures. And so I reached out to RJ and I said, I was 19 and in love. I have like a really deep journal about this time. I have all these photos, like really close photos of the band. I got to hang out with the band a lot. And so I said, I'd love to, you know, to share them with you guys. And he was like, that'd be awesome. Would you want to come on?
What?
Would you want to like come on and do like a, you know, Facebook Live or something? This is like April 2020.
What?
Yeah. And you guys, I prepped for this like it was the biggest job interview of my life.
Well, you're smart to do that though. Like going in with those guys, you definitely need to do your homework.
Yeah, like they know what they're talking about. I had like spreadsheets. I mean, my family is like making fun of me because I had just like my pictures out, my journals, like notes, Google Drives, docs. You know, it was very intense. And that's still how I am on the pod, to be honest. But yeah, so I went on and it was the most fun I've had doing something in so long. It was just that kind of combination of, you know, you're podcasters. So it's like you prepare and you do all this work behind the scenes, which is what I loved about acting. It's like you really get to like dive into a script and a character and like decide what your intentions are and what your goals are and what you want, like for your character wants. But then you get to go on and talk to people and forget it all and just be in the moment.
Right.
You know, and that's like what I loved about acting. And that's what I love about being on the pod. So then I just begged them like, hey, can I do a recap when shows started coming back? Hey, can I come back on? You know, like J-Fat played at Radio City. I was there. Can I come on? You know, and so they let me come on a bunch. And then they kind of like shut it down when they went to Undermine, you know, and they kind of consolidated all of those Phish podcasts to do Undermine. And I was devastated.
Oh,
I was like, what, they're ending this podcast. It means so much to me now. And I think it means a lot to a lot of people. It's such a popular, awesome podcast. And so I just wrote to them and I was like, I don't know what you're doing with the pod, but if you ever want to bring it back, I want to co-host it. I want to be on it. Like you need a woman on there. Like you are all amazing, but like, it's really great to have a female perspective. Like there's
it's a
not
bunch
many
of dudes
women
talking about Phish. Come on, guys.
Come
Yes.
on.
Yeah.
And I came on at the end of November and I did that whole month of December. We did twice a week shows leading up to what was supposed to be the New Year's run at MSG.
Oh,
And yeah. And I was so like jazzed up about it. I got to talk about, you know, all the things that December Phish is and all these amazing December runs. And it was all what MSG is to Phish. And it's my favorite venue. And it was just so exciting. And then the shows were canceled and it was just devastating to me.
Megan, that was the year of my 50th birthday. And Mel had done this like elaborate thing. She took Phish lyrics and made a poem out of Phish lyrics or Phish song titles and like made this beautiful card with the poem on it and presents it to me at our Phish themed 50th birthday party. And I look at the card and I'm like, oh, that's really sweet, babe. Like I'm teared up. She's like, turn it over. And I turn it over and it's tickets to MSG and our flight and the whole thing. I was like, so when that got canceled.
And he was surprised. He's a very hard person to sneak around and surprise.
Well, and, you know, like,
and Mel pulled it off. He had
with
no
like
idea.
finances and stuff, like paying and stuff. Like, so I'm like, fuck, I hope he doesn't see it. Like, it was just, you know, it's like all this like underground, and like, it was just, you know, and we'll get into this, you know, after your story, but like Phish was like super, you know, deep for Aaron and I. And so like, that was like such a big deal. I was like, went behind his back and did all this stuff and like created this thing. And then
when that got canceled,
and the longest face in the world.
I've never, like, both of you. I have never seen these two. I've seen them go through a lot of things, raising kids and ups and downs. I had never seen these two so disappointed.
And I felt so
they were hard to be around for a couple of days. They were just just like
it was just bullshit.
I felt so silly too. I was like, I'm this upset about a concert. Like, there's people starving on the street, and I'm like, I want to cry every minute for like 2 weeks because of this. But we got to go.
Sat around playing Sarah McLachlan in the eyes of an angel.
Anyway, please continue. I share your pain about it getting canceled.
I'm just actually glad to hear this because I thought I was the saddest person about that.
Oh no, I
might
won.
have beat me. Yeah, you guys might have beat me. So like, I get it, and I feel like the April shows made up for it. But damn, that was a hard loss. I know. It was also like the first time I was going to be able to like go to a show and have this like new community, because like for me, I always went to shows. I've been going to see Phish since 94, but I was always like, it was just me in my bubble. I didn't have like a big community, you know? And so the podcast, I've just met so many people through it, and it's become like, you know, it's just a huge world to me now. And I meet new people every time I go, and it's just so incredible. And so I was so excited to do that for the first time. So I feel you. It was rough. It was really rough. But but then they let me stay on. So now they can't get rid of me.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, RJ.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I
hope not.
I don't think I've ever asked RJ. I know that HF Pod was going away when they consolidated all the Phish podcasts on our network, but HF Pod is staying around now, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're staying around. Yeah.
You're like, oh, yeah.
People wanted us back. Yeah. You know, I think it's such a long running podcast. It's so popular. I think people love it. And I think that they were trying to probably, I mean, I don't know, I shouldn't speak for RJ and everybody at Osiris, but it seems like, you know, Undermine takes so much effort that I think they were trying to like consolidate it to make it, you know, the best it could be. But I think they realized that they could do both.
Yeah. And what you said too is it's definitely like having your voice in addition to it. It'd be like if Mel wasn't here with me and Aaron, which we've done a handful of interviews that Mel couldn't be here for, and they're cool, but it's not the same thing as having her voice involved in it. And she keeps us in line. She keeps us from like getting too silly, getting certain things.
You know,
but she gets silly as hell too.
Everybody does what they want, but you know, it's like when you have a mom and a dad, like it's better to have both parents around. It's just better. Like, okay, it's fun with mom. It's cool. Great. But then sometimes you just need a second opinion or somebody to talk to. And I think they're so close. They've been friends for so long that a lot of they like the same foods, they like the same clothes, they like they like everything the same. Yeah. So that's kind of boring by itself. Like they're interesting and cool, and they know a lot of good stuff. But then, so what?
This thing's my favorite. Yeah, me too, man. Oh, I like the blue one. Yeah, me too, man. Like, what?
So I made up this. Yeah, I made up this stupid game. It was like the Designer magazine, right? And it has like at the end, it's like got all these like lampshades, right? Like different lampshades. So I was like, okay, handed the magazine over to Aaron. I'm like, hey babe, if you were a lampshade, which one would you be? And he picks one. And I was like, okay. So then I handed over to Apple. Hey Apple, if you were a lampshade, mind you, there's like 20 lampshades on. It's not like 3 choices. There's like 20. Hand it over to Apple. He's like, this one. I look at it. I'm like, what the fuck? So I like
coffee tables.
We did it like 6 times.
We did several things like coat hangers, like what?
Trash cans.
Yeah.
We'll go out to eat. They eat the same shit. It's like, what? Okay, so I totally feel you. Like we need diversity in like the jam band scene. And I didn't I didn't know that until I got in it. You know what I mean? I didn't know that it was missing anything or that it needed, not even missing, but did it needed anything until I got in it, because how would you know? Right. And so for people that say, oh, well, you know, there's not enough females, get involved. Like what you did is exactly what people need to do. Be open, be like, I want to be on this. I have a story. Let's hear it, because otherwise don't complain then. You know, like you got
exactly.
You have
to do it.
That's what I loved about Leslie. Like she was like, I want to do a Goose podcast. Let's do. And she made it happen. Like we need women in this scene that are taking an initiative to not just dance while the band is on, but also to like you did, write your set list and like, you know, call the freaking opener and, you know, get the poster and talk about it and like create a scene within the scene for women that feels comfortable. And that's what's really rad about.
I think that's happening. Don't you think that's happening with
I'm
Phish?
talking about this like previous to now. Yeah. This is an old problem. I feel like.
Yeah. And I think it's like, for me, I just felt like there's always one narrative that's being told when only men are talking about something, you know? And so obviously like I don't have the kind of encyclopedic brain that Brian Brinkman does. Right. And I don't have the, you know, the ability to remember every single David Bowie jam like RJ does. You know, I don't, but what I do have is I can come and talk about the way that I feel at a show and my experience at a show, and that I like funky, sexy Phish, you know, and I can bring like my perspective, and that's been amazing that I've been able to do that. And then people have been like welcoming of that. It's such an honor and gift, really. And I work my ass off to be there too. I'm going to tell you, I prepare like so hard for these podcasts because I care, you know, and I know that everybody else knows their shit, you know, and that's the thing that's intimidating about being on a Phish podcast, is that everybody listening, they know fucking everything, you know, and so you can't fake that. I couldn't even imagine.
No, they will call you out.
You cannot fake it.
We sat down with them in the lot at Dick's, and I remember it was day 3. Day 3.
Yeah, day 3. It was,
and I was well done by that point, and
I couldn't even hang.
And we were getting ready to sit down, and I was like, I don't know enough about, thinking to myself, like, how am I going to fucking do this right now? But just like you, like these guys say that I'm the stats guy. I listen to those guys talk. I'm like, I don't know shit. You know what I mean? I don't know.
We need everybody in the punch bowl.
Yeah.
You know? It's like the fruit. We do. We need everybody. Little kid, mom, dad, grandpa, uncle. We need everybody, because this is such a unique scene.
Just like you, though, when I sat down, I realized that I have something that nobody else has. It's my perspective.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? That nobody else can have that. And not that mine is some grand thing, or it's right, or it's wrong, or it's but it's mine. You know what I mean? And nobody else can do that. So it was great. It was a great learning experience for me to sit down with them, was like, oh shit, I have my thing I can bring here. You know,
and that's what like art is, right? Like there's this quote that Martha Graham wrote to Agnes DeMille that I always had hanging up in my room when I was a teenager and in college. And it was talking about there's this like life force, there's this quickening, there's an action that is translated through you. And there's only one of that in all time, you know? Wow. And if you don't express it, and if you don't put it out there, it's gone. And so it's like your responsibility as an artist or a human being to express yourself, you know? And I've been really thinking about that a lot lately, because it's like, sometimes when you like open yourself up kind of professionally, like taking a risk by being on this podcast and, you know, talking to these guys about Phish and kind of just like putting myself out there publicly, it's like motivating me to like put myself out there in my personal life and my relationships in like a stronger, more authentic way.
Absolutely.
You know, it's just been amazing.
It's definitely, this show has done that for the three of us.
Yeah.
Too. 1,000%.
Oh yeah. It's become our life. It bleeds over into everything, and it's therapy. When it's nice to have like it's really nice to have a weekend off of not really having to do, you know, interviews or anything. Yes. But then when that day comes, we're all kind of like, Oh
Yeah.
okay. I'm
Go watch
relaxed.
cartoons and
Yeah,
take a
like
nap.
yeah.
Well,
it's therapy.
we've worked it into our life so
Exactly.
much that it's like a part of us, and so it's like not picking up your kid from school or something. It's like you feel
Right.
like there's something that you're not doing that's supposed to get done, and it's been, such like we were talking about this yesterday with Dean Del Rey, like learning how to do this. I mean, we're 6 years in, and in the very beginning, none of us had skills on interviewing or cared about what we looked like on camera because we didn't do camera back then. We didn't, it wasn't about statistics or any, it was only our opinion and only our ideas and thoughts. It wasn't anything that newsworthy. But then as we started to learn how to actually interview and learn how to like not fight each other, like
Interrupting
underneath the
all-
surface, because it's just like looking at each other like,
I was trying to say something. Shit.
But now that the groove has been established, right? It is one of the most rewarding, cathartic, beautiful things that you can do with your homies.
And
Yes.
one of the things that I think that has happened for all of us too is that doing the show has created a new and deeper connection with the music. Has being on HF Pod done that for you?
Totally. I mean, I've always loved Grateful Dead and Phish. They
Right.
were like my, the Grateful Dead was like open Pandora's box, changed my life in a million ways, and is the reason I'm sitting here talking to you today. And Phish is like my music. It's like the Grateful Dead was like my parents' generation, and they weren't into the Grateful Dead. They were really into like awesome classic rock and really great music. But I loved the Grateful Dead because I like fell in love with these older boys and they taught me about it. And then I was like, whoa, what's this? It's just this magical universe. But then when I heard Phish, I was like, okay, this is my shit. Like, this is my generation. This is like funny. This is self-referential. This is playful. This is like, dark, and this is funky, and this is like just, silly. And I loved it. I just fucking loved it, and I've always listened to it in a way that was really, it's like, I don't want to say intentional because that's what I'm doing now. I think then it was just for pleasure. I listened to it to just feel good and have fun. And then once I started being on the pod, now I listen to it in a totally different way, really, really intentional, and thinking about how I would talk about it too, sometimes.
Oh,
which is
yeah.
really cool
Yeah.
because, I'm at a show and I'm like completely dancing, and I only take notes sometimes at shows, like if I feel like I really want to, like, I'm not going to have as much time in the morning to like prep for the pod or something, because we usually do recaps at like 1 the next day. And if I'm like, no, I'm not going to have enough time, then I'll take a little bit of notes, but I really just like to be like present in the show, and I don't like to be on my phone. But I feel like I listen now with an intensity and like a connectiveness that I never had before.
Mm.
Wow.
And it's so amazing. And it's just deepened that well for me so much. And then what's also been this like really cool thing that's happened is like my friendships with the guys on the pod, which I never expected to have, these deep friendships that I have with them. And they're all so fucking smart, and they know so much about music. It's insane. It's like, they're not siloed. Like, they don't just know about like, Phish. They know everything. And they're turning me on to like all this music, like that I've never listened to, like ambient music and tons of folk music and indie music and all this stuff I didn't know about. And so I feel like my universe is just like,
Exploding.
it's like one of those like things. It's just, like, it's amazing.
Can you bring us to when you first started? Like you said, some cute little guys, with the Dead, but what about Phish? When did you go to your first show, all that?
Yeah, I was 17 and someone gave me a copy of Rift on tape. And I remember going home and like getting high and like opening the cassette tape case, and all the lyrics are there, and they're so tiny, but I remember just like looking at them, and it has that beautiful thematic cover, and it's got that like, I just was like, this is a universe. Like, this felt like a whole universe. And I just dove in, and I listened to that tape 1,000 times. And then I started asking for bootlegs, and then I found out they were going to play in my hometown in Grand Rapids, Michigan in November 1994. And so I was in a play that day, that week, and it was like tech rehearsal that week. And I had bought tickets actually to Ann Arbor too. So I was going to try to do both shows. And then Ann Arbor ended up being our dress rehearsal. I couldn't do it. And then I was devastated. But then Grand Rapids, it was a tech rehearsal. And so I only had to go till like 6 and then I could leave. And so I peeled out of there at 6 p.m. and like got down to the little like community theater, you know, down. It was like, and it's DeVos Hall. And it's just this place where I had gone to see like Les Mis and like Hello Dolly, you know, and all these like musicals. And here it was like turned into this like hippie haven. And I was really into being a hippie then. And I was like, it was so exciting for me. And I was 18th row. And it was just like, they opened with my friend.
Oh,
and
shit.
I was just like, oh my God, like what's happening? You know, it was so intense, and they were so emotive. And, you know, I had seen the Grateful Dead. This is 94. So I'd seen the Grateful Dead a few times, and I feel so lucky that I got to see Jerry, like, you know, thank you, universe. At least I saw him at the bitter end, but I got to see him. I saw him 12 times, and I had seen him a few times. And so, you know, the Grateful Dead at that point, they were like, they played to the like heavens, you know?
Yes.
And it wasn't like playing to you, you know? And so I'm there and I'm watching Phish, and I'm seeing Trey just like look out in the audience, like, what the fuck are these people doing here? You know, like, what? This is crazy. You know, I think 94 Phish fall is like, they're just stepping into their power.
Yeah.
You know, they're about to play MSG next month for the first time. You know, they are like raw and like hungry and in the moment. And I just could not fucking believe it. There's like a 25-minute David Bowie in the second set. It just like goes crazy. And they played like a mini acoustic set. And it was during not acoustic, it was bluegrass. It was when they were touring with like Reverend John Mosier.
Okay.
And doing like the bluegrass sessions. And so they played like a little mini bluegrass, a few songs. And I just felt like, to me, I was so surprised that they were so engaging with the audience.
It's so weird that, I mean, it's years apart, right? Like your experience and ours are years apart. My first Phish show was 94 in Olympia, Washington. And I didn't see Phish again until 2015.
No way.
Yes.
Why? What happened?
I was a Deadheads. Like I didn't dig it when I went. It didn't click. And I was like, it's just not for me, man. It's not my cup of tea. Like I don't, they're fucking jumping on trampolines. Like, what the fuck was going on? I want to see Jerry. You know what I mean? That's where I was coming from. And then, after Jerry passed, I met Mel not long after, and we started raising a family. So that just wasn't a thing. And when Fare Thee Well came around, we went out to Chicago to the shows, and I saw Trey playing with them. And
this is likewise for me. I was never a Phish fan. Never got the lyrics, never thought it was deep. I liked his guitar playing, but then when the vocals would come, it's like,
I'm out.
So we're in the same boat. It was like Jerry, some other music.
Twinsies again.
Yeah.
See, samesies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then we go to Fare Thee
So
Well.
we go to Fare Thee Well, and I'm like, okay, this guy's fucking amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I need to go see them. So Phish was playing, that was the 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Phish was playing at the LA Forum on the 15th. And Mel didn't want to go. And I was like,
I wasn't down with it.
Apple, do you want to go see Phish with me at the Forum? And he was like, fuck yeah, let's go. And that night they did a My Friend that night that was fucking insane. They did
I love that.
a Carini that night that, oh my God. And then
did the vacuum cleaner.
They didn't. No vacuum cleaner. We got a Yem that night. And
I thought he did. I thought they did the trampolines and the. Okay.
No. They did a Yem that night. And when the show ended, the lights came on, and I looked over at Apple, and I was like, dude, we blew 30 years.
Oh,
but in the same,
devastating.
but in the same hands too, we were like, well, we got 30 years to catch up on. Like, what the fuck were we thinking? Like, we know several Phish fans that were like, I'm kind of jealous of you, but not really. But I'm jealous that you get to dive down and go rediscover. Still to this day, I mean, so many shows, so many things.
The whole time at the show, like, I'm going, Mel needs to be here. Like, she's going to absolutely. We've been married 25 years. I know her. She's going to fucking adore this. This is going to be her show.
Especially when it got because we'd heard things, but we weren't ready for the spectacle. Like when
the tweezer,
when all of a sudden all the tens of thousands of glow sticks, it looked like glow in the dark waterfalls coming from the balcony.
It was,
and then it was like, oh my, yeah, it was like, yeah, Mel, this, like, it's Dance Party USA. It is,
and I wasn't into it. I was like still raising our kids. And that was my Phish, like I was all in
100%.
In motherhood, and my daughter was getting older and, like moving, and I just was like wanted every second and every moment. And honestly, like I'd never experienced the Dead like that back in the day. Like when I was, when Aaron was doing that, we're 7 years apart. So I was still a kid for a lot of that. And then just when we were able to, we were raising a family. And so I forego all of that because I didn't care either way. Like I was like, I wasn't like, oh, I missed 20 years. It wasn't like that. It was like, that's rad. Now I can get to do some cool shit now. But back then he was like trying like, Mel, we need to go. And I was like, no, it's fine. But I will say my music bug and everything when my good friend moved to Nashville, and my daughter had just moved and my girlfriend had just moved, and I went to visit her, and we went to see a show in Nashville, and it was just like a random show. There's shows all the time. And we saw the Revivalists, which I didn't know who they were, never heard of them, never heard any music. And after they performed, I was like, why haven't we been going to concerts all this time? Like what?
Yeah.
Like the feeling that I got, and like, it was amazing, like truly, truly amazing. Nothing like a spectacle like Phish. This was like in a little tiny warehouse, whatever.
Yeah.
But like, it like literally woke something up in me.
She came home from the trip.
100%.
She's like, babe, we need to start going to see more live music. And I was like, fuck yeah.
Yes.
She got the bug. She got the bug.
I had the exact same experience, Mel, though, because I stopped really seeing much music when I was raising my kids. Like when I was like in my late 20s and I stopped acting, and a little bit before that too, I felt like my pursuit of joy, which is really kind of what I felt like going to shows was.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was like shallow and immature. And I was actually like a little embarrassed about like who I had been when I was like in college and high school and into this, because
I can understand that.
Like, I made a lot of bad choices. I like didn't take care of myself. I, let men treat me like shit. And I was like, I don't want to be associated with that. I kind of associated like going to concerts and shows with that time in my life and like who I was then. And I felt like I needed to like grow up.
Wow.
Totally.
So I stopped.
And as a mom and as a woman, sometimes you do feel like that. Like there's times where I felt like that currently, not within the last couple years, but like when our son was like still in high school and stuff, I'm like, what the fuck, babe? Like we can't like just keep doing this. Like that's not cool. And then I was thinking like, cool to who? Or cool to what? What standard am I measuring against? Nobody at that time had given us any crap about it. Even our own son, he saw that we were having a good time.
He's the one that bought us the mic to start the podcast.
Yeah, like
I heard that on your podcast and I loved that.
But
that's the thing. It's like we're taught that like as parents, we're not supposed to pursue our own joy or our own interests or our own, especially as women. And I think that is a real problem in parenting right now is that people give up their lives to raise their kids.
Absolutely.
And then they're like upset when their kids have all these pressures on themselves and feel like they can't make a mistake because they know that everything's riding on them. So I'm really trying to like, because I was really like that when I was like a young parent. I was just totally obsessed with it. I was just I didn't do anything really for me. All I did was like take care of my kids and, and I'm glad I got to do that. But now that my daughters are 13 and 14, and now I want them to see me as someone who has a life and who has passion and interests and someone who does things for herself, because that's the kind of woman I want them to be.
Yeah.
And I think that it's
oh
so
my gosh.
important
If
to model that. Like we need to ignore our kids a little bit more. We do. You got to ignore them a little bit. They got to figure some shit out.
They have to want us, kind of like the guy when you first meet him. You let them want you a little bit. Don't be like,
that's what you were doing.
No, but Megan, our kids are older than our kids are a little older than yours, and I will say this past, well, no, not this year because it's beginning, but last year, both of the kids separately, away from each other, came up to Aaron and myself on separate occasions and was like, I am so glad that you guys are doing this. You guys are having so much fun.
I'm so proud of you guys.
So proud of you guys. And
That's amazing.
yes. And one thing that as a parent, I always wanted fun. So that is something that I always had in our life. Like if we're going to the grocery store, it's going to be fun. If we're going to, anything was going to be fun. So I don't know that fun was out. It just, I didn't know that.
Our fun was swimming.
It was
in the
different.
Pool and doing different shit.
Our fun was
exactly
so different. And so I think as a parent of an older child and a grandma, for them to see us literally living, not just waking up every day and going to work, whatever, but living and taking chances and risks and being bold. That is what they respect and admire the most.
Well, and also
totally.
back to what you said about how we're taught, women especially, but as parents, to you can't have fun. Everything has to be about the kids, nothing for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
How can we fill our kids' cup if our cup is fucking empty all of the time?
Totally. And that's what's happening, right?
Yes.
Everybody's cup is empty and everybody feels overstretched, and we're not seeking joy to put back in, and it's not right.
It ain't right.
It's not right. And I feel like those moments when I've seen my daughters, like one of my daughter's friends told her that her dad listened to the podcast and knew about me. And Mia was like, Mom, one of my friend's dads knows who you are. And she was like, that is so cool. And I was like, for her to be proud, it was really neat. And I felt like that was a moment when she got to see me as a person, as opposed to just her mom, which I think is really valuable.
And also, let's add on to that, not just a person, but a successful person. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Somebody that's doing something that other people appreciate and enjoy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Taking a risk, right? Trying something new. Your kid saw you start a podcast and look what it's become. It's a universe. And I think that's been really inspiring for my kids. And I feel like a really good lesson.
Wow.
They just said that we had a cool milestone, especially for them. Was that last weekend when Simon finally joined us on the podcast?
Oh, yeah.
No, it was 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. Simon's never, he helped start, and he was always like, cool, you guys, when we've asked him, you have, nope, didn't want nothing to do with it. And then 2 weeks ago, sat down with us and did a whole intro. And
Simon,
he had so much fun at the end of it. I didn't know this was going to be so much fun. Now I see why you guys enjoyed. He got what he helped start. 6 years later, almost,
amazing.
He came and sat in and was like, "Oh wow, but this is really cool."
I want to go back to back to the Phish thing. So we leave that show, and I'm like, I got to get Mel to a show, and it wasn't until 2018 we brought her to the Gorge. And
oh wow, what a first show!
Well,
Jeez.
that, and then also my sister was with me, and we never really talk about my sister's
and you took
part.
acid for the first time.
I took acid for the first time. My sister was with me, and that run like an antelope. I was literally running like an antelope through the gorge with my sister, and my sister was on, and she was on nothing. My sister's
she was pregnant,
clean. No, not that time. That was for Dead and Company. But I felt the most liberated and free, and I felt like all of my receptors were open because they were. But to have my sister she was able to like, these guys are awesome, but they're holding it down. They're keeping like the blanket over there and they're dancing in the same spot. I am everywhere. I am zipping around the gorge, and I look back and my sister's with me, and it was such a great, like, that memory to me.
She ran down the hill at the gorge. That's pretty steep, and she in and
was
out
going
of,
down the rocks.
in and out of people. Yeah,
I felt
off
like
the
I was like
rocks.
1,000 miles an hour, and like
You were.
people, I'm like weaving
oh,
in and out
shit.
of people's like thing, and like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm like, and it just, nothing could stop me at that point. But the sharing it, that's right there is why I wanted to bring that part up, is sharing something that makes you so happy. And at that point, I didn't know it was going to make me happy. I had no idea. This is my literal first time. And then with my sister, it was, I was like, what? I didn't even know what to say. I didn't know.
That is so amazing.
I was like dumbfounded. And then we have our moment, Aaron and I, that he was going to bring up. There was a moment where it clicks.
During
something,
Farmhouse?
Yeah. During Farmhouse. And
I love it.
See, like, I don't care about the stats and everything. I know it doesn't matter. I'm fine. But that song with everything that was happening, and like, again, you have a farmhouse. It's not like a singles pad. That's for everybody. If you have a farmhouse, come on. And so I was like,
come on, that song's beautiful.
yeah,
So
I was like taking
Yes, come
everything in, and it's like, wow, this, and we had like all these people with us. Like we had a whole group, and it was one of the best times of my life. Like literally one of the best times of my life.
From that night, it was like 1,000% all in Phish.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's all
And
it
then
takes.
That's all it takes.
It's funny too
Those
now.
fucking ones.
And now one of my favorite things, especially the last like 2 years, basically since you got surprised seeing these
Since
two.
21.
So their daughter's 27, moved out for a while. Simon
Yeah,
was
she's been gone for a
preparing to
while.
move out, has moved out now, but building up like Simon's a man now. He was working a job. They no longer have to be like the parents that had these responsibilities for kid and them making decisions at first
Yeah,
to go
fuck
to
it, let's just go to Hershey's
like should we
next
go to
week?
babe, I looked it up, it'd be it'd be like $3,000 for this and that. I don't know. And I'm like, do it. You two do it. This is you won in parenting. It's over with. You guys spend the fucking money. What else are you gonna spend the money on? Fucking go.
Well, and then
And they've been going.
the best and last testament was me and Aaron, before we decided truly that we're going to go to Phish Mexico. We were kind of toying around with it. Are we going to go? Aren't we going to go? And my son and his girlfriend, we went out to eat with them. We were somewhere, and we were talking about it in the car. And his girlfriend is very practical, and she was like, "Well, if it's not going to put you in debt, and you guys both love it." And she's like doing all these facts. I think you guys totally should do it. And Simon's like, you guys like the same thing at the same time. When does that ever happen? Just do it. And Aaron and I just looked at each other, and we didn't make the decision right then and there. But like after that, we're like, what are we doing? Like we are our own, we're our own parents. We can say what we want to do or not. And so we just booked it, and it was just so great because they were so happy. Both our daughter and our son were like, right on, guys, go for it, do it. Like it was just like the Phish for us has been even that much more bonding for our marriage.
And isn't it?
Oh my God.
Well,
that's
now
great.
for the family too, because is Jasper going to be at the Phish?
No,
he's not going to be
coming.
there.
We're
No.
going to the last Hollywood Bowl in April, and their
Nice.
daughter and son-in-law is
For the first
joining it,
time?
which we've been talking about for years. They have not been, so this is finally
They
coming.
haven't been.
No, this is coming to
fun.
fruition,
That's gonna be
too.
so fun.
Megan, we're going to get to hang out, right?
What, are you going to Phish Mexico?
In Mexico?
What?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. My first time.
Us too.
Us too.
Us too.
Yes.
Sweet. Oh my
I'm
gosh.
so excited. I can't wait. It was also one of those things. I was like, this is a bucket list thing. I just need to do it. So I'm so excited. I'm going with some girlfriends and some other friends. I'm so excited. Yeah.
At the MSG shows, the people that we were sitting behind, because we had the same tickets every night. So we're sitting behind, or I'm sorry, in front of the this couple, and they were like, look, just like, look, whatever you need to do, mortgage your house, sell some shit. You need to get to Phish, Mexico. I'm not kidding. And like, she was not fucking smiling. She was like straight up.
One of our friends
Dead fucking serious.
She was serious.
at Northwest String Summit, one of our friends was like, same shit. I don't care what you guys have to do. Put it out into the universe. You guys need to be in Phish, Mexico. We were like, okay. And then this year it's happening. I want to ask you though, you had said that MSG is your favorite venue. Why?
Yeah.
Why is it?
What is a city without its music?
The legacy of the New York Philharmonic is incredible.
Nearly 2 centuries of history. That's a lot of music and a lot of stories.
I was sitting on stage for the very first time thinking, I can't quite believe this is happening.
Join me, Jamie Bernstein, as we explore the history of the New York Philharmonic. It's the NY Phil story made in New York, a podcast about a city, its people, and their orchestra. Listen wherever you get podcasts.
Well, I mean, there's a million reasons why. The number one reason is the 12-30-19 tweezer. I was on the floor and it just changed my life. I mean, it's my favorite jam of all time, which is saying a lot. 3.0
Wow.
jam as a 1.0 girl. That's intense to admit, but hopefully I won't get heckled too much for it, but
Not by me.
I mean, yeah, MSG is like, I started seeing the first time I ever saw Phish in MSG was, I guess it was 97, that New Year's Eve run.
Mm-hmm.
And I walking in there as someone who's always wanted to live in New York City, like their whole life. And I was in college then, and I drive up to New York and I like go to see them at Madison Square Garden with a bunch of friends, and they just tear the fucking roof off the place. I mean, that 97 run is like just the 12:30 show from that run is like probably my favorite Phish show I've ever seen, even though I appreciate all my Phish shows a million times more.
Yeah. No, I get what you mean.
Sure,
Yeah.
like 100%. But it was just so raw. It was just, peak Phish. And I always went back whenever I could to see them there. And there's just something magical about that place. I mean, they've played there more than anywhere else now, 76 times, I think, right? And they love it there. And there's just an energy. It's like they're able to take that like energy of New York that's just so electric and so raw. And it's the reason why New York is so horrible to live in is because like we have like the lowest of lows here. And that's because we have the highest of highs, right?
Yeah.
You can only have that in a place like New York. I think it's the same in other really big cities. I think San Francisco is like that. It's like you can have these like triumphant moments and then you have like the days when you're like taking out your trash and a fucking rat jumps out at you, and you fall on the subway and, like you get like accosted by a crazy person. Like there's just a million reasons why New York is terrible to live in.
Right.
Costs a lot. But then there's just those moments like when you're in Madison Square Garden and it's the last night of the Baker's Dozen and they play You Enjoy Myself finally. And the floor is literally bouncing. And you're just like in this space that just doesn't exist in normal life. You're in like the roundest room, it's like this encapsulation that I just don't feel anywhere else. And I feel like it's Phish's home court. Like that is, they fucking own that place.
I felt
They
like
own
that.
it.
Yep. 100% agree. I had never been to New York City. I had obviously never been to MSG. I had never experienced something like that. I've been to a lot of fucking shows in my life. A lot.
Yeah.
The first night we left there, I was like, holy shit. I felt like I got to see the best, funkiest, grooviest, trippiest Broadway musical
Yeah.
I had ever seen that had been being produced for 40 years.
Yes. What was your first show at MSG? Was it
April?
Yeah,
April.
April.
Yeah, those shows were fucking great. They were so good.
Dolphins and whales.
I mean,
What the fuck?
That was honestly like when that happened. First of all, like the night before 12:30, that's my like holy night of Phish. That's like the show that I always try to get to no matter what. it's hard on the New Year's Eve show because it's like my family and, my husband's not into Phish. He's very supportive of everything I do in this whole universe. And he listens to a lot of Phish. Like he knows a ton about Phish, whether he wants to or not.
By proxy.
Talk about it all the time. It's like what is that word? I don't know. It's like osmosis.
Yeah.
Like, you just like seeps into you. The other day I was like listening to a bunch of Harry Hoods to try to like, prep for this pod. We were talking about our favorites and he comes in, he's like, Harry Hood again, like he knows like the first 2 notes of like every Harry Hood, he's just like, yep, know that, he knows a lot. So it's hard to be away that night, on New Year's Eve. I want to be with my family, but the 12:30 show I never miss. And so I was so excited for the April show because there was going to be a New Year's Eve show that I could see. And it was like the night before was going to be not on 12:30, but like, would it have the 12:30 energy? And it totally did. And it was just like, oh my God, that run to me was like, that was like so celebratory, it was like the return to Madison Square Garden after COVID. It was just, New York was back. Like we were like, fuck COVID, I got it there, but I didn't even care. I was like, I don't care. Like, it was actually so great too, because I went to 4 Phish shows and I took off 2 days of work at my job teaching and the kids were like, I was like, guys, like teacher's going to see Phish, how much I love Phish. And, and they're like, yay, go do it. Cause I like play Phish for them. They know how much I love it.
I was going to ask if you did that. Okay.
Yeah, no, they're totally into it. I play them stuff all the time. Like they love it. And it was just, I had to take off 2 days. Like I took off Thursday and Friday and then, I got COVID. And so I got to take off the whole next week and recover. It was perfect.
Aren't you glad that you didn't get it at like some grocery store or like
how boring
on a random Wednesday
on the subway? Like, dang it,
that's boring.
I got the whale
COVID
variant. Like,
yes.
So fucking great.
So okay,
oh my God,
Megan, I want to know from another female woman that. What do you think it is about Phish? Do you think they're just like really good musicians and they play good music and that's why we love them? Like, what is the magic or the uniqueness of what they can do in a space and for people? Like you said, it changed my life. I was talking 100%. About the gorge thing. It changed my life. What just good musicians, can they just change your life? Like, what is it about it?
I love that question.
That's big.
What I think it is when an artist, and especially artists, like more than one, are able to be so present with each other and trust each other to such an extreme amount that they can walk the tightrope and are willing to fall off the edge, right? I mean, that's what it takes to be the kind of improvised musicians that Phish are, right? They're willing to take risks, and it's captivating. And it also is something that creates a bond so deeply with the audience. They've also cultivated their relationship with their audience in a way that I don't think is paralleled with any other band.
Agreed.
And I honestly don't think, I don't know, about every band, but I really don't know if there's an audience that has a direct relationship that is so reciprocal in energy and in, we have inside jokes with them. They fuck with us. We fuck with them. Like, I remember I was at the Red Rock show in '96 when, Benji and all those guys put the flyers out to like chant, Hood back at, when they were singing Harry Hood for the first time, and watching that happen in real time was insane because it was like, it was us pranking the band, them hearing it. And like, that was just so to me, like, that's so what they are. Like, they are in the moment with us and it's a real relationship. And I think that is something that, like, as that has continued to grow, is just, it's become so enormous that it changes lives. And I think that it's as an artist, like the best actors that you see when you go to see like a Broadway show and you watch them and they're on stage together and they're like completely in the moment and they trust each other enough to be totally vulnerable and like feel things deeply and you believe it and you forget that like they're even in a play and you're just feeling what they're feeling. That's what Phish does. And they do it a fucking lot. Like, and they do it in not like a way that the Broadway actors get to do where they have rehearsed it and they know what's going to happen. They do it in this like wildly dangerous way. You know, they go out and they say, we're going to try something we've never fucking tried before.
All the time.
And we're going to do it all the time. It's so insane. It's so insane to me. And it's so incredible. And I think that because the four of them have, you know, I think because they're nerds, I think they didn't have that like ego that breaks up rock bands.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah,
Like,
good point.
really like fucking cool guys who are like rock stars. Like the bands usually just don't work out that well, or they burn out, or they fight. There's infighting, but like, you know, Phish are four nerds, you know, and they're really good guys, I think. And I think that they've been able to not try to be like, they haven't worried about like who is on top or who, you know, they've just been interested in making art together. And I think that that is something it's super fucking rare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
They're like all best friends and they need each other.
Yeah.
And like being like, like, I love that you said that. They're like, they're nerds. A lot of us are nerds. Like me and Aaron are kind of nerds. That's why we've been friends for 40 years. Yeah. I mean, like it's amazing.
I mean, I'm on a Phish podcast. I'm a total fucking nerd.
Yeah.
Like, there's no doubt.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I'm not, but I totally.
Come on.
You're
married to me. You're
No,
a huge
we're
nerd.
kind of nerds that
That's
like we look like we're not, but we are. It's okay. It's the best kind.
Yeah.
Incognito.
You know what,
Incognito nerd.
Megan? I said not too long ago, I think Phish wins the award for the longest running inside joke ever. Their whole career
yes.
and I think that is part of what we're all responding to when you finally are on the inside of that thing and see it for what it is. It's enormous and it's funny and it's sweet and it's dark and it's weird and it's fun and it's all of that shit. And what you just said about trusting each other and cultivating that level of vulnerability for 40 years this year.
Yeah. I mean, wow.
So
Wow is right.
I think what we are at least myself, what I'm responding to now is a very mature sense of what that fun, weird inside joke is. It's very different now. It's still silly. It's still fun. It's still Phish, but we're older and our perspectives have changed. And
the world has changed, and what
our
they're
world
doing
has changed,
for it
and
now.
our connection to the world has changed, and things are a little bit more on edge in the world.
Yeah.
And I think that Phish has really responded to that in a beautiful kind of a way with the, you know, the love and light tray. You know what I mean? That whole thing is real, and we need that
real.
shit right now. And I think that they understand that. And I know a lot of people talk shit on it and like, you know, I'll bring back Evil Phish, and okay, I get it, but we're not there now.
Yeah.
It's not time for that.
No, I agree 100%. And I think that's the only thing that I would amend to my answer, is that I would add on that Trey is such an absolute genius.
Yep.
That his ability to tap into deep emotion, like right now we're doing this like look back 40 for 40, right? Where we're taking 40 shows, one from each of the years of Phish, and we're talking about it like in depth. And I'm listening to all these 80s Phish. Like I've listened to like, you know, shows from like 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88. And it's so amazing because you hear them playing a song like Harry Hood in a bar for like a couple hundred people.
Mm-hmm.
And it is so beautiful. And the fact that he was able to tap into that emotion, like, you know, when you think about a song like Hood or like Slave or Fluffhead, you think about an epic show at the Gorge, right? Where they're just like, the music is like cascading over you and you're like blissed out and you're like, this is the universe talking to me. But like the fact that he was able to see that big of a song in that small of a room.
Holy shit.
To me is just fucking insane. And like that to me shows like his level of genius is just it's one of those like divine inspirations. He's just one of those artists that just has, he's just a gift. And I agree, Aaron, completely that his transition to, sobriety and to appreciation and gratitude and all of those things, connection and love and light, it's fucking important. And it's actually the only thing that matters. And yes, he's still going to play you a sick Carini, and that you're going to, be able to have like your monster feelings and like, rage too. But what's probably going to be more important is, when he plays you that hood and you have that moment and you feel those, or that Reba moment when everything is just totally blissed out and you feel like, God, like the universe could be good. At its soul.
Yeah. As you're saying that, I'm thinking back to MSG and when they played Fluffhead on that run. And I just remember it was just spontaneous tears just pouring down my face, like singing Fluffhead, and I'm bawling. Like it's definitely 40 years big.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
And great things happen when you turn 40. Like,
oh my gosh, yes.
I feel like my whole life fucking changed when I turned 40.
Yes.
I'm such a better version of myself now that I'm in my 40s. And like, that's like what we have to look forward to this year. Phish is going to fucking deliver this year, just in case anybody's wondering.
Yeah.
Thanks for that. I was wondering.
One other thing too that I find amazing with them for being together this long, all the original members, is I can't think of another band that has side projects that are so important too, and that fill in the gaps, like with Tab. When they're not touring and there's not going to be an announcement for a while, then he does that. Then he goes on his solo tours where it's just him, almost like spoken word, sitting in a chair. Then you got Mike Gordon, and there's obviously no animosity with any of the band of any of these side projects.
It's so cool.
And with Tab, it's like created, helped create careers for all of the people in that band beyond Tab and with Tab.
Totally.
It's like everything he does, everybody we've talked to, we're about to complete when we have Natalie on the whole horn section of Tab. And everybody you talk to, anybody that's ever met him or performed with him or anything, is just in awe of the man. And also at the same time, like, he is so amazing, such a genius, but so humble and such a human being that it's just fucking amazing.
What Jennifer Hartswick said about him, she was like, just being around him makes you do better.
Yeah.
Which is I
believe that.
Come on.
It ups your game and you want to be.
Totally. And absolutely think about what he did for Goose this year. And I think they obviously would have gotten there anyway because they're amazing. I fucking love Goose.
Yeah.
But like for Trey to be like, let's share the stage. Come on an arena tour with me. Like that is so generous, and like just to play with them and to teach them what it's like to do that. It's like what Santana did for him, and I think that like that is such a elder statesman move and such a class act.
Totally classy.
Class act.
And we actually were talking about this a couple of weeks ago. I wonder what your take is on it. Like, I see it like this. Trey and Phish, they understand the community. They're connected with the people that are fans of their music and the band. And they understand that this thing surpasses just what Phish is, right? Phish isn't going to be playing for another 40 years. They've got however many years left to go. And I think that it's a very intentional move on the part of them to pull Goose up to make sure that the scene is in good hands, kind of thing. Like, I'm going to introduce you to my fans and my fans to you. I want you guys to get to know each other so that when I'm gone, you can hang out together.
Totally think that. It was super intentional.
The only thing I took away from that is how dare you say they're not going to tour for another 40 years, sir.
Seriously, I was like,
With
what the
medical
fuck are you talking about, Aaron?
advancements and everything. Oh,
The colostomy
I
bag
want to
tour.
talk about that. The
Megan-
colostomy. Yeah, whatever.
I want to understand something a little bit more personal about you with your marriage and him not being a big Phish fan, because that's as much as you enjoy Phish and now it's like kind of your job almost in a way. Like, how does that work? How do you guys, what is he into music at all? Is he got something different, or like, because I know for us, Aaron was enjoying it, but it wasn't until I really started enjoying it as well with him, where it was like, okay, now it feels right, where it was like,
Yeah.
So I wonder, like, with you and your husband, like, I'm clearly, you said that he supports you and all that, but like, what is it behind the scenes with you guys in music and stuff like that?
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, he likes music a lot. He's really into indie music. So he's always playing me new music, and I play him a lot of new music too.
Yeah.
And we go to see shows together, but like more like indie stuff. So we see a lot of stuff at like smaller bands in Brooklyn, and and he keeps me kind of like current and up to date.
Yeah.
He likes to like listen to new music, and I'm always like playing old shit, and like playing Phish from 1987 and Jesus, But yeah, no, he's great. I mean, he's come to a handful of shows. Like when I kind of started getting back into Phish, I was living abroad for a few years, and I moved back in 2014, and I started to go to like a show like once a year, and I kind of like my like show crew people from like college and high school, we all kind of live in different places now. So they don't live in New York. And so I was kind of like, didn't have like a crew. And so I would drag him along. And so he's seen probably like 5 or 6 shows. He saw like the Petrichor New Year's. Oh, wow. I dragged him to, which, if you don't like Phish, that is like a commitment. Like that is a long 5 hours of Phish. Like instrumental, like, it's like, there's a lot.
That is a lot.
And the rain.
It was a lot.
And he loves you. He stayed.
and he stayed. He was super great. He had a great time. He enjoyed the beers and he had fun. But yeah, it was definitely like, it was funny. But then I think when I started to kind of like get really into it again after I turned 40, and I started writing about all that time in my life, and I started to want to like go to shows more. And I actually met this woman, moved in upstairs from me in my apartment that I lived in at the time. And she came to introduce herself to me and rang my doorbell, and we met, and we're like, oh, wait a minute. Like, I know you. And we knew each other from yoga class, and we kind of met officially. And anyway, fast forward to a couple weeks, and she texts me about something, and I'm like, oh, I can't talk to you right now. I'm in a concert. And she's like, are you at a Phish show? Oh. And I was like, yeah. She's like, I love Phish, and I haven't seen them in like 20 or 25 years.
Shit.
I was like, what? And so her and I like immediately were like, shh, and now we're best friends.
Aww.
And we go to all the shows together, and we travel to see Phish, and I bring her like my college crew to see Phish with me. And like, so it's become this thing. And I met another girlfriend through my sister-in-law who was like, you are just like my sister-in-law. You need to meet. And the 3 of us have become like just so tight. And so now Phish has become this thing where I just go with like friends,
Aww,
and
I love that.
It's just so awesome. Yeah. And it's great. I mean, sometimes I'm like, I wish you were into this too, just because I'm so into it. But it's also kind of nice to have my own thing that's like, gives me kind of like this identity for myself.
Yes.
So it's been nice. I feel like I'll ask him if he wants to come sometimes. I'm like, do you want to come? He'll be like, do you, like go with your friends.
Have fun.
An awesome time.
Bye.
Yeah, have
I'll
fun.
hold it down over here.
Yeah. I'm going to do my thing when I want to do my thing. Like, and I'm like, cool, I'll stay with the kids then. So it kind of
That's
like
rad.
works out really well.
That's
yeah.
great. I love to hear that.
Okay, so we
Yeah.
got like 8 days or something till Mexico. Is that right?
Wait a minute.
Oh my
Is it-
God.
Wait,
I have
no.
No,
finished
it's 10
my
days.
10 days.
10 days.
Mel, do you have all your outfits planned?
I do not have all my outfits planned.
What the
I
fuck
don't
just
either.
happened?
Okay, you know what? Thank you, Megan, for saying that. Can you please explain to the gentleman why that's even a thought to you? Why is that important? Why do you even bring that up? Can you explain to them? Because coming from me,
What just happened?
I can't express it in
We're
the same
taking
way.
over
No,
the podcast.
what the
It's
Yes.
girl
no,
talk now.
no.
That's
Wait,
right.
check this out. She said to me a couple of days ago, she's like, do you know what you're wearing? And I was like, yeah, t-shirt and shorts. What are you talking about? She's like, I haven't even planned my outfits. And I was like, I don't get it. So please help me out.
Well, if you know anything about Phish chicks, you know we come fucking correct.
It's
we
true.
wear some cool fucking outfits. And there's a lot of pressure that I put on myself because I don't like to repeat outfits. And also I like to take pictures of myself in outfits, and I like to like have a fun outfit and like see other girls and be like, you look awesome. And have them be like, you look awesome. And like celebrate, it's part of my expression. It's how I express myself. It's like, I like to wear a fun outfit and dance and, be looked at. Like that's performing.
Yes.
And that's part of me. And I used to be embarrassed about that. And now I'm fucking embracing it because it's who I am. And I love to plan outfits. And so, yeah, it has been deep. My girls and I have like a massive text chain, photos, all kinds of stuff. I'm not ready though. And it's a little stressful.
I'm not ready.
though, I didn't know about that. It's like I think that's something that like, so you're like sharing your outfit ideas.
Yeah, like this is what I'm thinking about.
Oh, okay. Because I think I'd be like, I ain't showing nobody
until
I
like, I don't even understand what this is.
Well, I would just think
Apple, if anybody understood, it would be him.
That's true.
Really?
Yeah, and I'd be thinking like, ain't nobody seeing it until I like whip off the cape. Ba-ba! Like nobody will know what it's gonna be. Although I got to say,
the mystery.
My problem with Phish, the only time I've ever dressed up for one, I would say, is when we went to Halloween. Oof. And I wore my Santa costume, which was really cool for the first 20 minutes. And it was so freaking hot. I thought I was going to die. I was like, from now on, when I wear a costume, it's going to be like a banana hammock and pasties or something. Like the most minimal clothing possible. Because once you start dancing and all those people, it's
I
like,
agree with that.
hell yeah. Boo. Oh.
Minimal clothing.
Oh my God. We both had a wardrobe malfunction. I had this like super cute corset that Aaron and I had tricked out. He drew like the fish with the little bubbles and I bedazzled them and it was fucking cute. Awesome. And we were pirates together. And that dude, I could not even wait.
It was so hot.
It was so hot in there and the corset was sucking like the life out of me. And my boobs were about to pop out if I breathed any harder than I was. And I was like, fuck this, you guys. I'm going to get a poster because we already had decided, okay, we're not going to get a poster. And I was like, I'm going to go get a t-shirt and a poster. And I waited the entire time and
the sci-fi soldier.
Right. So that was the one to get.
Yes.
That was one to get, the sci-fi.
Right as I came back, it fucking starts. And I was like, okay.
She comes walking down the aisle and they go into the first song. I was like, motherfucker.
I see him looking around.
Nailed it.
And got a poster.
With the
if it would have been me and Aaron, we would have been standing in line until the first set break.
Yeah, but we don't
wait
look like
for
Mel,
a poster.
Exactly.
But somehow she comes
Right.
back.
Go in and go out.
And
you
it-
don't.
And
When you wear the corset, you do get rewards for it.
Yes, you do.
Listen, if you're going to suffer,
I remember when she handed me the poster too. Like I'm a poster nerd, and she's got it unfolded. It's not even in a tube or any. She's just carrying it. And I'm like, Mel, what
are you doing?
She's like, here, Apple.
They ran out of everything. They didn't have sleeves. They didn't have the little
and it was
anything. And so I was like,
still
okay.
like the ink was still. It wasn't like completely dry. It was like a fresh run. And she's like, they said so. It's like,
they said be careful.
The fuck am I gonna do with this
is true.
unfolded poster and protect it through all this? And we managed.
Here's the thing.
wow.
Do you have our numbers?
I don't, but we're going to have to make
Yeah.
that happen.
Yeah, let's make that happen.
Yeah.
Here, hang on a
I
second.
want to hang out with you guys at
Yes.
Phish Mexico.
Yes.
I gotta
oh my
go.
gosh.
I gotta go check.
Take some outfit pictures, Mel.
You'll help me out with that. I'm definitely more of a social media lame-o. That's where I'm a nerd. I'm a geek. I'm a geek and not in a good way on social media.
I love that.
It's not good. I mean, look, this and you don't relate to this because you wanted to do this, right? You like sought after it and you're like, fucking RJ, I want to be on. I fell into it. Like Aaron kind of pulled me into this. And in the beginning, there was a huge like fight back and forth underground, not because I wasn't enjoying the concerts and stuff, but I was like, I didn't get it. I'll be honest, I just didn't get it. I'm like,
what's the big deal?
What's the big deal?
about doing the podcast,
about doing a podcast, about going to concerts, about the whole, like everything that No Simple Road is. I didn't understand what the big deal was. I didn't understand the scene yet. I didn't get it. And so thank you, Phish. It took me like, it did. Thank you, Phish.
Yeah, right?
But it took me a long time. I'm not like, it was what it was for me. It was like, I was supporting my husband. I didn't dare to carve out an identity for myself in this scene as anybody specific or important because I didn't care. Not because I was like shy or scared.
You didn't know though.
I didn't know. I didn't know any better. I'm a late bloomer with certain things. Like
that's like probably a gift because you're so authentic in your space. That's like probably what draws people to you too, though, because you weren't seeking that out.
No,
you know
she's not some jaded 1.0 that's like, whatever.
Well, and like, okay, so you were saying like you were like really wanting to do like acting and singing and all that performing, right? Well, that's what our daughter does, and so Aaron's family was all in the entertainment industry. And then my daughter goes into the entertainment industry and she's on TV and she's in videos and she's on commercials and all this stuff. And like, I just didn't ever, for me, it was like, I didn't need that because it was all around me. And even though it wasn't my expression, I was still witnessing it and so close to it that I didn't feel like I needed to be in it. Do you know what I mean?
That
like
makes a lot.
It wasn't
makes so much sense.
Yeah, it was like I wasn't being expressed, but at the same time, I didn't feel like there was a need. And so we're 6 years into the show, and it's a lot different now. And I feel like you
found your voice, definitely.
I definitely have found my voice, but I still feel like I feel like I'm 6 years old. That's what it feels like. I'm a toddler in this scene. And that's why I'm not like a statistician. I'm not into like, I don't know which Harry Hood I like best. I just know the one that I like that I heard last night. You know what I mean? Like I'm not writing it down. My notes that I take are the downloads that I'm getting during music. I don't even know what song it is. I'm like, oh shit, that was dope. And and so I kind of like you, I feel like I'm in your earlier years, like I'm doing it for pleasure. And it's really been these last 2 years where it's more like, actually, you need to grow up. You need to fucking grow up, girl. You need to like get a suit for your, you know what I mean? Like when you go to work in the office, get a suit, get yourself a black heels, go get your hair done. And
get your coffee. Come
exactly.
On,
And it's feeling,
your handbag.
Yes, it's feeling like that for me now instead of back then. So I feel like I'm really coming into my own at 44 years old in a scene that I've been in for 6 years now, just the last couple years.
I will agree with that.
I mean, I feel the same way though. I feel like I wasn't even a part of the whole bigger community. Like I was saying earlier, like I didn't know anybody except for like the 4 people I went to shows with, And so now to have this like universe open up in the past year, because I've been on the pod like, a year and a couple months now.
Wow.
It's just been so amazing. And I'm so grateful. And everybody's been so fucking cool and awesome.
Yeah. It's
such a great community.
I was just going to say that it's really special, and it's cool. Like very cool for us. 'Cause this started as a Grateful Dead thing, and we organically got blasted by Phish partway through No Simple Road, and you see what's behind me now. You know what I mean?
Love
like
that. Yeah.
and it's really been welcoming to us too. We've had that same experience. Like people have just welcomed us with open arms.
Well, remember Apple was saying a moment ago, we were just like, when we were deciding like, should we do something or shouldn't we do something? The very first time when we went to Hershey and we went there, and it felt like we lived there. That's how many people were coming up to us and like wild, grateful to see us and like, like get it. Like, and new people that were acting like they knew us, like high-fiving, and like, it felt so like a homecoming and a warm homecoming.
Like you guys do. One thing that I've loved to see and that was awesome for Aaron and Mel, and well, for the 3 of us, is like me and Aaron have a long history of shows, and it was the Grateful Dead was, we saw Jerry, all this stuff. Mel never really got that into Dead until like we went to Fare Thee Well. but it wasn't.
I didn't even get into them.
Not even then.
It wasn't really her thing. It was like mine and Aaron's thing, and then Phish. I mean, it became all of our thing, but it really became their thing together. To see that, like, I love Phish and everything, but I'm sorry. Everybody can beat me up for. I'm not spending the thousands and thousands of dollars to go see Phish. See them doing it and see how excited.
It's I don't know how
we're the weird ones.
We are. How the fuck do we do it?
how close it brings these two together, not just going to the event, but the months of planning and the excitement. Yeah. The excitement, it's palpable with them right now. The excitement is dripping off of them. That it is getting closer to Mexico.
I'm too excited.
So I get to vicariously kind of like enjoy it through that. They're like, we wish he could be at all those things with us, but it's like I care, but I don't. I care more about them having it together.
He's the best,
and he takes care of the house while we're gone, and the dog.
And when I am with them, I capture fucking great moment. There's fucking 3 pictures on the wall up over here that I took of them at the gorge that they didn't know. I captured moment. I didn't even know. Like, oh my God, that was a moment. Both of them holding their hands in the air with me back behind them. It's like silhouette, and like it just. I love that they have this, and we have it together when I'm able to be there.
Oh yeah.
But I love that they get to go out. I'm so excited. Me and Aaron went to the store this morning, and I'm like, dude, I'm so happy for you to. Like, we need this in preparation. It's getting ready to be festival season, and the rest of the year is like
we're about to get busy,
like to the floor. So they get to go have this moment alone. It's one thing I love for the 3 of us. Phish is still like, we're not interviewing Trey or hanging out with Mike or anything yet. So it is we're off duty when we go to Phish. Pretty much, it's pure enjoyment and fun time. Yeah. So
That's awesome.
Has that changed for you since you started doing the pod? When you go to shows, does it feel a little more like work?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the times I'm working during the day. Like when I went to Atlantic City, we had 2 live events HF Pod did at the Anchor Rock Club on the boardwalk. And so RJ and I were there at like noon every day, and we would be there until 4. And so I was, going to the shows at like 5:30 with my friends to get our spot, and then eating like, chicken tenders walking there, because it's just like the food in Atlantic City is terrible and I had no time. And then see the show, and then I go to like an after party because I'm a lunatic and I just don't want to stop dancing. I get home at like 3 a.m, and I'd have to be up at like 8 to start like prepping for the live show that I was going to do. So I was getting like 4 hours of sleep every night, maybe 5. And I did that for like 3 days, and so, and it's different too for my friends, because they're like, sometimes they joke, they're like, I wish we could just go to a show and be like anonymous again. Cause like, I'm not really anonymous anymore at shows. And I love that. But like, it's also like, I'm not anonymous anymore. So like people are coming up a lot. That's a good thing, like,
Megan.
Yeah.
That's good because it's your fulfilled dream right there. It is. Look, you clearly wanted to be important to more than just yourself and your family. And you felt like you had something to give and something to share. And in whatever way you did it. You need to recognize
and
that.
Are doing it.
Yeah, you did it and you're doing it, and you didn't want anonymity. Otherwise, you wouldn't have called RJ.
That makes me emotional. Thank you.
It's true. Because I want to recognize that, because I remember meeting you and you're like a freaking fireball of energy. You've just got so much energy, and just hearing your backstory and stuff like that. Look, man, we're supposed to shine wherever it feels right. And clearly you've been going to Phish most of your life, and you have so much as an early Phish goer, as a female, as a mother now, and as a teacher and as a podcaster now. So this is your stage. You are sharing it with the place that you love the most.
You're gonna light up your own house first.
And that's why it's good for you to be known, and it's good for your girlfriends to like, okay, you're hanging out with the freaking cute little celebrity that created this life for her, at least in your own bubble, and it's great. And I'm proud of you, and congratulations for doing that for yourself.
Wait to rage the beach.
Oh my
And
God. You guys are so
hold
nice.
on.
Thank you so
Hold
much.
on.
But it's true, though. I don't want to just be nice. I want you to know that it's true.
I want
Wow.
to. I want to add
Thank
something
you.
else to that, to also too, because I did, circling way back at the beginning of this conversation. You said you're a third grade teacher. I was in my early 30s. I was a children's librarian.
When I was
No way.
Yeah, I did literacy programs with K through 3. And
that's awesome.
when you said you were a third grade teacher, I can just picture you being such a fun teacher. And I did it for 5 years, and I learned from like K through 3 teachers. They were like, this is the best age. They're like third grade. They're like third grade is the last one, because something happens when they turn like 9 or so and they go into 4. Like that's when attitudes start to come out, and I saw it firsthand. But just sitting here, I've heard you on the podcast, but sitting here seeing your face and talking to you, I can just picture what a dope third grade teacher she is. You're like everything you said, you know what, acting and all that. I can see you taking that to these awesome third graders and playing Phish for them, and they're excited for you when you're going to shows and everything.
Thanks, guys. It's so fun.
Dope.
It's so true. It's the best age. They're so sweet. They like love their teachers so much, and they have the most silly sense of humor. But then you can still like, I went to see Headhunters, the Herbie Hancock's band, the other night in Brooklyn Bowl. And it was so good. And I came in the next morning and I'm like, everybody's just seeming a little off this morning. We're going to have a dance party to Herbie Hancock this morning, and it's just like, to see them like dancing to like funky jazz. I'm like, yes, like third graders will do that. They'll lean in, like they'll be silly. They'll have fun. They're joyous. They're awesome.
They're still sponges. They're still sponges a little bit and want to soak everything up. And All
right, Megan.
Wait, before we leave, I'm going to give you a top 5, not a top 3. Top 5 faves of Phish songs. Come on, you got to do it.
Phish songs?
Quick.
Oh my
quick.
God. Quick?
Yeah,
Oh,
come on.
That's your kid.
Well,
Today.
100%. No doubt the MoMA dance is like my shit.
okay.
That's why my IG and ridiculous like Twitter name is the Megan Dance, because like I love to dance. MoMA is like so what I love about Phish. Sexy, funky, cool lyrics that can be interpreted a million different ways. Just like groovy, I love that shit. This is like picking your favorite children.
I know, that's why I said quick, because whatever comes out first is natural.
Tweezer, always Tweezer, always Tweezer. I mean, I think for sure. I think when I think, this is so hard. When I think about what I really, really always want to hear, it's like something I haven't gotten. I don't know. I mean, I think anytime I hear a Carini, I'm super happy, because I just want to like, I don't know, just rage and like get those big body movements and like just fucking be a rock star. So Carini for sure. How many is that? 3?
You got 3. You got 3.
2 more. Okay, 2 more. Let's see. I mean, this is really hard.
I know.
I really love like when Phish does covers and like really, really
Yes.
good covers. And I love when they play the Rolling Stones Shine a Light. Like
that
song is just like, that song like hits me so hard. And when they play that, I'm just like, and I think the last one is a cover too, which is that okay? Is that allowed?
Yeah, you're allowed.
Okay.
This is our game.
This is our game. Okay. Anytime they play Sneak and Sally, I'm like, that's it for me. Like,
wow,
I want to dance and feel like dirty and wrong. I love it.
You gave us gold. You gave us gold, Megan. Thank you.
Follow-up question. How many shows have you been to now?
Oh, that's a great question.
Oh, I think I've been to, I should look it up. I think it's like 68.
Okay. Wow.
60?
You and I need to figure that out, Mel.
Wait, hold on. I'm going to look
All
right
right.
now, just so I give you accurate info, because I keep it in a note.
Okay, I was going to say that's why I asked. I'm surprised.
I'm in a 60. 60.
Okay.
The last show, the 12:30 was my 60th show.
Oh,
Wow.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
can't wait to do 61 with you.
Yes.
Yeah.
How
I
are we
can't wait to party
gonna?
with you
Are
guys.
we?
I sent you our numbers in the chat.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, I'm going to take a picture of that right now. Okay, now I can put your numbers in my phone.
Yay.
And you've got mine. I'm not going to be there the first night because I can't take off that many days of work. So I'm flying down Friday morning.
All
Okay.
right,
So
we'll keep an eye out.
I'll find you Friday.
We'll hold
Oh,
it down.
wow.
All right. We'll see you
and
soon.
we're gonna do an IG live. RJ and I, like, from the pool on Saturday. So you guys should come around and hang out with us.
Perfect.
Okay, you got it.
Yay.
Yeah.
We'll see you
Awesome.
soon.
Thank you guys so
Megan,
much.
it was
for
a
having me.
blast.
Thank you, Megan.
So fun to talk to you guys.
Dude,
Thank you so much.
See you in
All right.
10 days.
Wow.
She's rad. When we met her in New York, she was a ball of energy, and it was 3:00 in the morning.
Oh,
That was the night I
she's
got
a lot
lost.
of energy.
That was the night I got lost in the hallway.
cutting room, right?
Yeah, I got lost in the hall. But she really, I think you asked her, that question is very hard that you asked. Not the 5-song
No,
question
I know which one.
about what she thinks it is about
That was a
Phish.
beautiful answer.
And she really, that was one of the most eloquent, well put answers I think I've ever heard. And I've read books and heard tons of interviews and heard people bullshitting everywhere. And that,
She's been around the block, man, the Phish block, and she's got a lot of knowledge. And so maybe she
Yeah,
doesn't
she's
have a
got it.
200 show thing, but she's got a 60, and she's got her like strong opinion and her life-changing moments. And
she's been around the block with a PH.
yeah,
And she did when she said she's a 3rd grade teacher, like I said there at the end, she'd been the most awesome teacher ever.
Oh, yeah.
Bringing that, like they heard that the class was dragging
like-
a little, so we got up and danced to
remember-
Herbie Hancock.
when we were at watching Little Stranger at Peach, and you and Apple were like hugging because they had just shouted out "No Simple Road," and the guy behind me turned around and gave me a goose pin. And he was like, "I'm a teacher and I play jam music for my kids all the time. I play goose." And I just thought, what a freaking dope teacher. And now all these teachers, they're freaking jam heads,
Yeah.
and they're introducing their kids or the class to all this amazing music. I'm
I wonder if there's a
blown away by it.
a Phish Chicks teacher community.
Probably.
There's got to be, right?
Mhm.
I would think so.
So, yeah, that's like there's a niche for everything Phish.
Yeah.
Megan needs to be a part of it if she's not
Yeah,
already.
right.
Megan, thanks for being on the show.
Yeah, Megan,
Yeah.
thank you so much for spending some time
That was
on
fun.
Super Bowl Sunday even with us. That was very sweet of you. So
Yeah, and I didn't say it during that. I'm sitting on pins and needles.
Well, don't sit on. Stand up.
The game's happening, and I've been looking at the score. And
Who's winning?
the Eagles are right now. They just scored again. It's 14-7. I'm gonna go check the beef, make mashed potatoes, and
All right.
All right.
We love you guys. We'll be back on Monday with another installment of the No Simple Road Weekly Rewind. And remember, until then, smile at strangers, safety third, hydrate, and you know
make
what?
sure to check your beef.
Well, that too, but if you haven't cleaned out your fridge in a while, it's now time to clean out your fridge. I guarantee you're going to find some weird meat in the cheese and meat drawer, and there's going to be that weird vegetable that you bought that you were like, I'm going to put this in the stew, and then
That's
you never
now
did.
a bag of liquefied
Weirdness
mystery
chilling out in there and
juice.
frozen old milk. So go clean out your fridge. We love you guys. We'll see you soon. Peace.
The mystery bag, fucking green.
Like twisting, turns to mission, turning this to journey. Wish the word is many problems, but it's a burden. Family needs has been deferred, and hella means been the earth. And alchemy can bring the birth, the melody of a newborn. So persistent, so resistant, so insistent, so commitment, so resilient. Or haven't you learned it? No simple road. My windshield is shattered as I focus through the spot in the corner that is still intact. The react is both a defense mechanism as well as a fear. We've traveled this road before, so we may think, but it's a tad bit of strange similarities that feed an A equal A complex. The fears of your past do not equal the perplexities of the current road.
Hey, listeners.
I want to tell you about the April-May 2023 issue of Relics magazine. Features a Dave Matthews Band cover story with additional articles and interviews with The National, Graham Nash, Wayne Shorter, ALO, Ivan Neville, our friend Eric Krasno and Stanton Moore, Marty Stewart, and much more. Check out the latest version of Relics and subscribe now at relics.com/DMB. Thanks, Relics.
Hi, this is Paul Phelps.
And this is Monica Strutt.
And we're from the Daily Music Business Podcast. We're joined by a number of other really great hosts in creating daily content with great advice for independent musicians just like you.
That's right. We put out episodes daily on all topics from music marketing to branding, advice on signing with a manager and label, and anything else you need to up-level the business side of your music career. We've got it covered.
Subscribe to the Daily Music Business Podcast today on your favorite podcast catcher.
Subscribe today to the Daily Music Business Podcast on your favorite podcast platform.